Inflation is the most destructive disease known to modern societies. There is nothing which will destroy a society so thoroughly and so fully as letting inflation run riot.
The government almost raised VAT by 2%. But do you know what that really means for your pocket? More than just higher prices. This is about inflation, interest rates, and the economy crushing the average South African. Welcome to Inkari, it's time. Today I'm breaking down the real impact of inflation, interest rates, and why the recent VAT hike debate was just the beginning of your financial struggles. Stick around, because I'll also show you how to protect your money in this economy. The VAT hike and its hidden impact. The South African government was considering increasing VAT from 15% to 17%. They backed down for now. But why was this even on the table? The government is struggling with a budget shortfall of over 15 billion rand. Instead of cutting spending, they looked at increasing taxes. But a VAT hike means you pay more for everything. Food, transport, electricity, while your salary stays the same. Inflation and the cost of living crisis. VAT hikes can exacerbate inflation, which is the general increase in prices over time, reducing the purchasing power of money. The official inflation rate was 3.0% in December 2024, rising to 3.2% in January 2025. However, essentials like food and electricity have experienced more significant increases. For instance, food inflation edged higher in December 2024, with categories such as vegetables, oils, fats, and fruits recording notable annual increases. Additionally, electricity tariffs are set to rise by 12.7% for the fiscal year 2025-26. This means your 100 rand today buys you less than it did last year. Imagine the further strain on your finances if the VAT increase is reinstated.
Inflation doesn't arise because you got consumers who are spendthrift. They've always been spendthrift. It doesn't arise because you've got businessmen who are greedy. They've always been greedy. Inflation arises because we as citizens have been asking you as politicians to perform an impossible task. We've been asking you to spend somebody else's money on us, but not to spend our money on anybody else. Everybody talks against inflation, but what he means is that he wants the prices of the things he sells to go up and the prices of the things he buys to go down. The real tax on the American people is not what you label taxes. It's total spending. If Congress spends $50 billion more than it takes in, if government spends $50 billion, who do you suppose pays that $50 billion?
Of course.
The Arab sheiks aren't paying it. Santa Claus isn't paying it. The Tooth Fairy isn't paying it. You and I, as taxpayers, are paying it indirectly through hidden taxation.
Interest rates and why borrowing is more expensive. To fight inflation, the Reserve Bank increases interest rates, making loans and debts more expensive. If you have a loan, car finance, or a home bond, higher interest rates mean you pay more every month. That's why more people are struggling to keep up with their debt and losing their homes and cars. How this affects the average South African. Middle-class South Africans are being squeezed. Salaries aren't increasing. But food, fuel, and loans are getting more expensive. If you are already struggling financially, a VAT hike would have made things even worse. That's why it's important to understand how the economy works, so you can protect yourself.
Because I just want to take the viewers back to just before COVID. South Africa's prime overdraft rate, which is the one that we know about, it's 3.5 percentage points above the repo rate, but the prime overdraft rate was 10%. And inflation was more or less exactly where it is now. Now the prime overdraft rate is 11.5. It doesn't make any sense, quite frankly, because this economy has not fully recovered yet from the COVID pandemic and from state capture. What we need in South Africa desperately is economic growth and job creation. And you cannot do that if your real interest rate That's now the prime rate minus the inflation rate. It's not intimidating maths. Is amongst the highest in the world. There is no consistency. When the previous governor of the Reserve Bank, who was a colleague of mine at Gibbs, when she was in charge, the average real prime rate was 3.1% during her term of office. Jill Marcus. The prime rate, the real prime rate in South Africa today is 7.1%. It is an increase of 129%. The Reserve Bank has lost sight of the second part of its mission statement. Not the Reserve Bank itself, it's a fine institution, but the Monetary Policy Committee, those 5 individuals that hold sway over the finances of 60 million people in this country, they've lost sight of the second part of their mission statement, and that is to make sure that this economy grows.
Yeah.
But they have an obsession with driving inflation down, and that worries me.
Yeah. People are finding themselves in an exceptionally difficult financial problem, in debt, owing so much money, savings, except for the extremely wealthy that have been benefiting from these high interest rates, but the rest have just been made poorer and poorer and poorer.
To sum up, here is what you need to know. A VAT hike would have raised prices across the board. Inflation is already eating away at your money. High interest rates make borrowing more expensive. If you don't plan for these changes, you will struggle financially. But in the next video, I'll show you how to protect yourself from inflation and rising costs. So make sure you don't miss it. What do you think about the VAT hike debate? Do you trust the government's decision? Comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more insights on how to navigate South Africa's economy. Check out my next video on practical ways to protect your money from inflation.